Hello everybody, K-Whip here and welcome to another Fortnite video. In today's video we're going to be talking all about bouncers. I'm going to be talking about how good they are, what situations they're good in, give you some tips for using them properly, and I'll try to cover the full utility of the bouncer. Now the bouncer can actually be a very valuable thing to use because it allows for very quick changes in positioning. If you use them vertically, they can be extremely valuable during build battles because if someone gets above you or is attempting to, you can throw down a bouncer and quickly get up like 4 or 5 platforms, which can make a huge difference in taking or retaking high ground from someone in a fight. Also, if you already have high ground or you're playing pretty high up in the air, it can be nice to have a bouncer already placed somewhere nearby you, or just having them equipped and available in case you think someone is going to shoot your stuff down and you may take fall damage. You can hop on a bouncer to ensure that you won't take fall damage, which makes you a bit more safe and also allows you to make some riskier plays if you do have a bouncer on you. Now bouncers don't only work with verticality, they also work horizontally if you place it on a wall or even a ramp now. Because of this, you can send yourself quickly in any direction. You won't cover a lot of ground, but you can cover a decent amount of ground very quickly, and you will have your weapon ready the entire time, which is something that you can't say about the jump pad. And another thing quickly that makes bouncers really nice in comparison to jump pads is that the default drop for bouncers is 3 of them in comparison to 1 jump pad. And so then there's kind of more opportunities where you can actually use the bouncers compared to the launch pads. But anyway, yes, you can move a decent amount of distance very quickly, so this can be helpful when you're running away from the storm. If you need to quicken your movement speed a little bit, building up a little bit and using a bouncer can give you some movement speed advantages. However, the most beneficial time for you to be using a bouncer if you're trying to cover more horizontal distance is if you're already at a higher elevation. That's when the bouncer is going to be the most valuable for you. You'll be covering the most ground when you're already up on a hill or a mountain or have built up a bit. But if you're basically on even ground heading to more even ground, it isn't super worthwhile to build up very high and then try to use your bouncer. It isn't super time efficient. You might as well just run in most of those cases. So if you're trying to use the bouncer to be very fast, you don't really want to build up super high. I would say you kind of just want to build up maybe 2 or 3 ramps and use it right away. So this launch can be helpful from getting away from the storm, but also in pushing opponents it can be very valuable. If you knock someone or do some good damage to an enemy, you can try to capitalize on their weakness by getting that quick burst of speed and pushing up onto them to try to finish a kill. And oftentimes you can do this very quickly, especially if you're in a 1x1. You can just kind of throw a wall against your back, place the bouncer and jump into it, and that can quickly get you moving. And then one more situation where bouncers can be valuable now that you can place them on ramps is if you're in a build battle and you're maybe building diagonally trying to gain some ground. You can place a bouncer on one of your ramps and push yourself towards the center of the build fight, and you might be able to land a shot on someone who's above you or take the high ground doing that, and that maneuver could pay off quite well. I should also mention that the bouncer has some decent synergy with other consumables. If you put down a jump pad and have a bouncer on a wall behind you, you can bounce into the bouncer and it'll push you into your jump pad, and you will get the effect that you have with like hop rocks, so you can go a lot higher and farther with your jump pad. So you can kind of have a supercharged jump pad. Also, you could try to pair the bouncer with traps. If you have some traps set up, you can try to manipulate your enemy's movement by putting a bouncer near them and try to push them into one of your traps. To be honest, I haven't had the opportunity to do this. It's definitely going to be a rare one. Probably going to have to do it on a mobile player if it ever happens, but hey, still cool. You gotta take what you can get. And the whole using your bouncer to make other people move could actually be kind of valuable. Because on the vertical bouncers, if you do not build when you're getting sent straight up in the air, you're actually very vulnerable. So that's something you have to be aware of when you're sending yourself up, but also you can take advantage of other people being so exposed. And then the last thing that's great about the bouncer is that it's just a lot of damn fun. If you're looking to rave in Fortnite, this has gotta be the item to do it with. Also, if you're pretty emo from seeing 9 damage on a pump a couple times in a row, you can use a bouncer to thrust your head into a ceiling over and over, maybe get a concussion, amnesia, forget about that pain. And that's just another stellar way to use the bouncer. Another possible use of the bouncer is that if you think you're gonna die and you wanna be a little bit trolly, why not die on a bouncer? It's gonna make your body so much more difficult to loot. You may lose the fight, but you can win some mental warfare by making people jump up in the air 10 times to try to pick up the wood on the bouncer. And finally, if you use a bouncer, you basically just automatically win the game. When I'm using them during the last fight, I seem to win every single time. It's something magic about them. Completely foolproof. No! I should have built, but he's so low. 34 health. God. And to finish off the video, I'll just say that I guess the true strength of the bouncer is really in its dependability. When the bouncer lifts you up, you know you're gonna be okay. And it's nice to play a game where things just make sense and work how they should. Thank you for watching, and see you later. What? What? I died from fall damage after using a bouncer?